everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Laura and I live in Connecticut, Zone 6A, and today we are going to do a seed haul. Thanks for coming by. Most of these seeds that you see will be from Baker Creek, which is rareseeds.com. They are just my favorite seed company. I really like their seeds. I've always had good luck with them. They germinate really well for me. They've got great instructions on the back. I love the way they take their pictures. I just love Baker Creek. So let's just get into it, shall we? The first thing I want to talk about is pansies, violas. I love pansies and violas. They come up really early for us. They're one of the first bloomers in the spring. We have a lot of naturalized violets in the yard that some people would consider weeds, but I let them grow in most places. I do pull them out in some, but I also like to try to grow some of them on my own. So last year I grew one, it was called Rococo, and I had some luck with it, but it bloomed sort of late for me. So this year I wanted to start my pansies really early. So I've already started them. They're really tiny sprouts, so they don't take up that much room. We don't have a lot of room, but I have made space in our little house for my obsession. So let's just get into it. The first one, you'll notice I've ripped the tops off of a lot of these seed packets, so I'll just put the name on the screen, but you'll see the picture. The first one is called Viola Blue Perfection. It looked a little bit bluer on the website. Here it looks very purple. That's fine. Purple is my color. My palette is mostly purple, pink. I like blue sometimes, and I do like black and white. I just don't really like the warm colors as much. I don't really enjoy reds and oranges and yellows as much. So that's the first one. This one's supposed to stay really tiny. There it is again. Just super cute. The next one is the Bowls Black, which is a really dark, almost black. It does have some purple in the middle and a little bit of yellow. This is a perennial. They both are perennials, I believe. Yep, they're both perennial, zone 5 to 9. And then the last one I got is the bunny ears, which is just too adorable, right? So I'm very excited about these. Hopefully they will bloom sooner for me. Last year when I started them, I think they stunted a little at some point, and that's why they had trouble getting going once I planted them out. But they did eventually bloom for me. That was a different seed company. So I am expecting better luck with Baker Creek for pansies. The next one I got was Snapdragon Cherry Twist. I hope that's showing up. I've never grown snapdragons before. This will be my first year. It's really only my second or third year gardening like crazy. I've gardened, you know, for the last 10 years as we've lived here, just around the house. Normal maintenance style, but once the pandemic hit, I got really into gardening, and so it became an obsession of mine, just like many other people. So this will be my first year growing even more varieties, but last year I started a ton of stuff from seed, and I just loved it, and it almost feels like free plants, because for example, I started yarrow last year, was one of my favorites that I grew from seed. I had almost 40 plants by the time it was time to plant out, and it just felt like free plants because the packet only costs like $2 or $3, you know what I mean? Whereas at your garden center, a plant would cost $3 or $4 in the smallest size. So anyway, I love starting from seed. So I'm going to try snapdragons this year. Like I said, it's going to be my first time, so I'm not sure exactly what to expect, but hopefully they will turn out well. And those are cherry twists. They have a million varieties. of snapdragons. It will also be my first year growing stock. I know most people grow these for cut flowers. I don't even know about cut flowers, so I'm just growing them for myself. I did hear that they only produce one flower per stalk. So that's fine. We'll see what happens. I just loved the color of this one. This is called Nami no Mai. And they do have lots of colors of this plant stock, which is an annual. The next ones I got were dianthus. I have a little fairy garden, and this year I really want to focus on growing shorter, more low-growing plants around the fairy garden. So it's more steppable and, you know, obviously so the fairies can get around better. So I got this Hollandia Purple Crown, which is a mounding type of dianthus. And it's just adorable. It's perennial in zone 7 to 10. Our zone is zone 6, but some things that are zone 7 will survive if you protect them enough. So we'll see. I'm not expecting it to live, but we'll see. And then the next one I got is called the Spooky Mix. And just look how whimsical those are. Like, are you kidding? They're adorable. I love everything about it. This one does get a little bit taller. It says it reaches 16 inches tall, and it's perennial in zones 3 to 8. So that's exciting. Okay, last year I grew, this is how I say it, ageratum from seed, and I got the mix, the pastel mix from Baker Creek. And they were one of my standouts from the garden last year. They were definitely one of the most prolific bloomers. They were, they reached almost 3 feet high, and they just bloomed their heads off the entire season. I'm talking from May all the way into October. So they were my favorites. However, I did find that with the mix, they produce a lot of white flowers, and I prefer purple. So they come in like a light purple and a darker, more rosy purple, and then the white. That's what the pastel mix was coming out as. So this year, instead of ordering the pastel mix, since it is an annual, I ordered the 2 purples. So this is the lighter one. This is called Leda, Leda. These I also think they are referred to as floss flower, I believe. And then this one is the darker purple. And that one is called Red Flint. These are amazing, and I'm very excited to grow them. The next one I want to talk about is similar, I believe, in habit, just based on what I've seen. You've probably heard of these from Stephanie at Hooked and Rooted. She is obsessed with Gomphrena, and she talked about it several times on her channel. She showed it, and they were just beautiful. I mean, they looked so gorgeous. She had them all on her border. I believe she had the Atomic Purple, which is one of the ones that I ordered based on what I saw on her channel. So these are an annual. You have to soak the seeds, no big deal, for 24 hours, and then you can start them inside. I start most of my plants inside. Stephanie on Hooked and Rooted direct sowed these after soaking them, and they grew like crazy for her out in the garden. I also ordered the lighter purple, which is the Salmon Pastel. Very cute. So I'm super excited to grow both of those, and I'm probably going to like intersperse them with each other. I grow mostly cottage garden style here, so I just really pack it in. And the more plants, the better. This one I ordered really early off of Baker Creek because I can't remember if this was a new one for this year, but I do know that it's rare. There's only, I think, 5 or 6 seeds in here, and it was $10, which is high for their price points. And it did say that it was rare. So I ordered this super early. I'm super excited to grow it, to try to grow it anyway. In the reviews, I did see a lot of people say that it took a long time to bloom. So I'm going to start these inside. I'm not sure when. I'll have to think about it a little more. I don't really have room for a vine. But anyway, look at them. When they dry out, they sort of look like a snail shell, which is just amazing. And the flowers are beautiful as well. So I'm super excited to try this one. This one was new for Baker Creek this year, so it didn't have any reviews yet, but I snatched this up as soon as I saw it on the website because look at it. This is called Leprechaun Gold Columbine, and it's just the richest purple color. It is beautiful, and the leaves are variegated. So I cannot wait for this one. Like, I'm so excited. They probably won't bloom this year, but it is perennial from zones 4A to 8B. So I'm very excited. I ordered 2 packets of this, and I have been cold stratifying it. Super excited to try these. Another one that needs cold stratification is echinacea, or coneflower. We have a lot of the classic purple echinacea coneflower here. It pops up on its own pretty well. It's one of just the most reliable perennials to have. So this year I wanted to try a couple different varieties. And I learned my lesson last year. I tried to start some echinacea from seed. It did not germinate. And that's because I did not cold stratify the seeds. So they need a period of cold before you can germinate them. So the first one I got is called Green Twister. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? It's like almost like a fuchsia in the center and then just bright green edges. So I'm excited about that one. And then the other one I got is called Doubledecker, which not every head will bloom that way, doubly like that, but most of them will. They look so beautiful. I've never seen one like this in person, so I'm not sure if it'll bloom the first year. Usually they grow pretty quickly in my experience, so hopefully we'll get some bloom. And the last one I wanted to talk about was one I grew last year called Agastache. I know there's different ways to pronounce that. It's also known as anise hyssop. It's an herb. It's a flower. It's beautiful. It smells amazing. And I tried to grow it last year from seed, and I did not a good job. I overseeded it, and it took forever. But when it did come up, it was one of my favorite plants. The smell is amazing. Some people say it smells like black licorice. I don't know. I don't like licorice, so I don't know if that's totally accurate, but it smells so good. And even after the plant died in the winter, it's out there right now. If you run your hands over the dead stem, it still smells amazing. So this year, I am going to grow a lot more and different varieties. So I got the raspberry daiquiri, which is a pink. And the other one I got is called Lavender Martini Agastache. They're both perennial. The lavender one is only perennial zone 7 to 10. And the raspberry daiquiri is 5 to 10. Some people say that Agastache doesn't come back reliably, even though it does claim to be a perennial. So that's okay. Whatever happens, happens. I enjoy gardening no matter what. So that is about it for seeds for now. I do have more on the way. I really just ordered seeds for things that I wanted to start really early, like spring bloomers. So the violas, the snapdragons, the stock. I also have some larkspur that I'm starting from seed. I know that you're supposed to start that outside, but that's for another time. And then I also ordered the seeds for most of the perennials that I wanted to start because I just want them to be a little bit beefier. Last year, I grew a lot from seed, and when it was time to plant them out, the plants were just really tiny. And I do have a greenhouse. It's more of a cold frame than a greenhouse. It doesn't really stay warm at night. It's new, so we're going to work on that for next year. But that will help me have plenty of room to harden off the plants, and that's really what I'm going to use it for this year. So I guess that's about it for now. I'll have more seeds on the way for the hotter season stuff and for the vegetables, and we'll talk about that at another time. But I want to know what you guys are excited to grow. What zone are you in? Leave all that below. Thank you so much for coming by, and I hope you guys are having a great winter, dreaming about spring, and thanks for coming by. Have a good one.